Okay, welcome, folks. Appreciate seeing your names over there. Um, yeah, welcome to the 8 a.m. session here. And I thought Gil and I made a mistake, but actually 8 o'clock is a more dignified time for me to speak. And so, yeah, you all are benefiting from the pharmacodynamics of caffeine, better profile, uh, and I am awake. So let's sit together. Just attuning to the present. Tuning to the present in the way we might attune to another human being in front of us. To attune to another human being is to cultivate empathy, to clarify the landscape, the inner landscape of the other. That's attunement, to be responsive to the inner landscape of the other. And of course, meditation is a kind of self-directed empathy, attunement. this pool of affect, of feeling, energies sloshing around, of emotion that calls out for its objects. And so a surge of feeling in the body, affect, and then a kind of interpretation of what it means for this moment, what it means for my life, for what I must have, what I must rid myself of. So much of our thinking proliferation is like smoke rising off of the engine of affect. We're always reading the tea leaves of our body, coming to conclusions about what we want and don't want. It's so natural, adaptive to be able to do this some of the time, but fatiguing for our heart to do it all the time. And so here in our practice, as the energies of our body surge and swell and bloom and collapse. We're practicing not over interpreting any of it, not making it mean too much. Treating all of the urgency that our feeling life creates as a kind of false alarm. For so long we've made our feelings affect mean so much, so many things, so many objects born of that feeling, so many plans and strategies of acquisition, of removal. But now our feeling, our affect means one thing: soften, soften. Ordinarily, pleasant means good, unpleasant means bad. But in our practice, we revere all experience for its capacity to soften our heart. In the pleasantness we abide, rejuvenating our heart, truly resting, letting the Dharma saturate in the unpleasantness. We let the imperfection soften the somethingness of ego. We call it purification. Staying empathically connected to yourself, to experience, to the richness of our feeling life. Okay. That's good to sit with you. So I saw some chats about the cyclone and Gil and Ajahn Suchito, and I have not been in touch with Ajahn Suchito. I think Nancy's been in touch with Gil, and I reached out to the retreat center, and they're safe and sound. They're still posting to Dharma Seed actually. So uh, yeah. So excuse me. So I was talking with a yogi after a retreat, and they said something like, I'm suspicious of spiritual teachers who lack a sense of humor. The lack of a sense of humor usually means they haven't reached deep into the mystery. That's what they said. And for a long time, I thought the Dharma was serious business, and Dharma teaching was even more serious. So I'll uh, I'll tell you how I got my nickname, Captain Buzzkill. I I have a lot of joy in my life, but little excitement. Even things that I wind up enjoying a lot, I'm not excited about in advance. And that's not because I'm like trying to be all Buddhist present or whatever. That's just probably more temperamental or something. And and my brother's kind of the reverse, younger brother, more on the excitement side. And this is years ago, he's telling me something that he was excited about, and I kind of was like, wah, wah, the first noble truth is still true, da, 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 whatever. And he's just like, you know who you are? You're Captain Buzzkill. And that nickname's kind of stuck with me. Um, and so today, theme of playfulness and humor. That's next on my fake list. Awe, Monday, surrender, yesterday, humor, playfulness, today. So there is this sense that the intensity and the poignancy of life is somehow in contention with the humor of it, that it is incompatible in some way. But one of the gifts of Buddhist practice is how quickly even strong forces can move through us, leaving sort of no trace and opening us to a very different next moment. Poignancy, and then delight, grief, and then humor. And the seriousness is often driven by ego, which is, I think, by nature serious. The kind of hallmark of ego is a subtle kind of defensiveness and territoriality. And the ego definitely doesn't think it's funny, but it is. It is. It can get tight. It can get tight in there. And certainly in retreat, my meditation, my insight, my samadhi, my enlightenment, it gets serious. And yet this is a long path, a deep path, and playfulness, humor is needed at various points along the path. So what are the characteristics of playing? What are the characteristics of playing? To play in the way a child plays. There's non-vigilance. We cannot be playing when we're patrolling everything. There's an absence of self-consciousness. We play in the absence of that congealed sense of self. You kind of can't play. You can't play if you're trying to look cool, right? Or smart or whatever. You cannot play, right? It's a performance, and play is not a performance. Play is the kind of inclusion of our whole being at ease with ourselves in a kind of flow. It's a beautiful thing to see a child at play. It's a beautiful thing for us to play. And it's intrinsically rewarding. We're not getting anywhere. We're not building towards something. We're playing. Winnicott, psychoanalyst, pediatrician, said psychotherapy takes place at the overlap of two areas of playing, that of the patient and that of the therapist. Psychotherapy has to do with two people playing together. Where playing is not possible, the work done by the therapist is directed towards beginning the patient, towards bringing the patient from a state of not being able to play into a state of being able to play. A state of not being able to play into a state of being able to play. And a lot of that can be said for the Dharma too. Where can you play? Where can we play? Where can we not? Can we play with our foibles? Play in the zones of clinging? Play even maybe with our shame? As the egoic framework becomes less and less of a kind of organizing factor in our lives, we open to humor and play, because a lot of what is painful in the presence of ego is playful in its absence. As we come to take ourselves less seriously, we can play with the conventions of self, with who we think we are. We play with it. In other words, we become the joke. And it feels good. Feels good. I have always loved when people make fun of me somehow. Well, I mean, not when I was like in middle school or something, but if they're making fun of me with love, it's a delight. And making fun of myself, there's delight there too, actually. And it's not like a casual making fun. I'm like really actually making fun of myself, but from love, from love. The Buddha says something like, don't deprecate yourself when you're teaching. And I get that, but I am making fun of myself from love. And part of how we can relate to our defilements is actually through some sense of humor And there's a kind of, in our playfulness, there's a kind of relief. We release some of that affect. Sometimes affect it can really, I was pointing to it in the sit, like it can go more than one way. It can become shame or pain or something, or it can become humor, lightness. Where can we play? Where can't we? And where we can't, it is a signal, it is a kind of signal, little warning light of egoic seriousness. But our path is both serious and playful. I went to this a kind of workshop. It was sort of more breathing, kind of more kind of pranayama-ish sort of practice with a couple friends. This is years ago, and a couple other Buddhist people. And it was not a Buddhist practice, but I got into a very kind of interesting mind state that I hadn't known. I think it was a 90-minute session, and we're in the dark, and we're breathing, and maybe an hour in, I think we were lying down. An hour in, I start to hear this woman next to me start crying, and it's just the kind of poignancy of it brought tears to me. I didn't, we had met very briefly. I didn't know who she was, but okay, I'm hearing crying. Oh yeah, I'm going to be crying too. And I start crying. And coexisting perfectly in perfect harmony with that, with those tears, and that kind of empathic connection of whatever she was feeling was humor. Not laughing at her for sure, not laughing at myself, but humor, and laughing deeply, deeply, and coexisting with the tears and with the humor was this abiding peace, as if I were miles beneath the surface of the sea, so still, and yet convulsing with laughter, with tears. And this is our life. So may we, may we find the coexistence of grief, of seriousness, of earnestness, of play, of humor, lightness, and keep going. Okay, it's good to be with you. So we'll gather back again tomorrow. I wish you all a good day, and appreciate being with you in this way together.